Hi, my name is Nick and I am an inspector with the RV Industry Association. This PowerPoint presentation will cover changes to the National Standard of Canada, Z240 Standard for Recreational Vehicles. These changes are to help harmonize the NFPA 1192 and the CSA Z240 Standard for RVs. Let's begin with descent from the roof of an RV under 5.1.6. When the only alternative exit is in the roof of the vehicle, a permanently attached exterior ladder or alternative means of climbing down from the roof shall be provided, capable of supporting a mass of 136 kilograms or 300 pounds, providing an unobstructed egress path from the roof. When using a ladder in this situation, it must be capable of supporting a mass of 136 kilograms or 300 pounds. Next is 5.3 Exterior Ladder Requirements. 5311 says, where an exterior ladder is provided to the roof of an RV, it must comply and be installed in accordance with the ANSI RVIA XLAD 1, the recommended practice laboratory test procedures for exterior ladders on recreational vehicles. 5312 states a caution label shall be affixed in a visible location adjacent to an exterior ladder. 5313. The caution label for an exterior ladder must comply with all of the following. The label shall be printed with the word caution a minimum of 6 millimeters or 1/4 inch high. The body text shall be a minimum of 3 millimeters or 1/8 inch high. The body text shall be on a contrasting background. The label shall read as follows. Caution. Ladder capacity is blank pounds maximum. Exceeding the maximum capacity can lead to ladder collapse and possible personal injury. Always face ladder and use both hands to climb slowly. Failure to comply can result in a fall hazard and result in personal injury. 5313 also uses the same ladder label and requirements printed in the French language. Now let's talk about 5.4 Loft Requirements. This is a new section to the Z240. The definition of a loft for purposes of this requirement is as follows. A raised interior area that has at least a 5-foot or 1.524 meter vertical drop except for areas intended for sleeping only or storage only, such as motorhome and truck campers, cab overs, fifth wheel upper decks, bunk beds, and bed lift systems. 541 covers stairways. We will start with width requirements. Under 54111, stairways shall not be less than 432 millimeters or 17 inches in clear width at all points at or above the handrail. Under 54112, the minimum width below the handrail height shall not be less than 508 millimeters or 20 inches. We will cover 54112 treads and risers next. 54121 states treads shall be a minimum of 178 millimeters or 7 inches and risers shall be a maximum of 305 millimeters or 12 inches. 54122 says the tread depth and riser's height may be calculated based on one of the following formulas. A. Minimum tread depth equals 508 millimeters or 20 inches minus 4/3 of the riser height, and B. Maximum riser height equals 381 millimeters or 15 inches minus 3/4 of the tread depth. Next is the uniformity of treads and risers for stairways. 5413 states the greatest riser height within any flight of stairs other than the top riser shall not exceed the smallest by more than 10 millimeters or 3/8 of an inch. Handrails for stairways fall under 5.4.2. 54211 says handrails having a minimum height of 762 millimeters or 30 inches and a maximum height of 965 millimeters or 38 inches measured vertically from the nosing of the treads shall be provided on at least one side of stairways that extend at least 1.52 meters or 5 foot above the main RV floor. Spiral stairways shall have the required handrail located on the outside radius under 54212. 54213 states all required handrails to be continuous at the full length of the stairs, and 54214 states the ends shall be returned or shall terminate in newel posts or safety terminals. Handrails adjacent to a wall shall have a space not less than 38 millimeters or 1.5 inches between the wall and the handrail under the requirements of 54215. More on handrails. 54216 says the handrail grip size shall have either a circular cross section with a diameter of 32 millimeters or 1.25 inches to 51 millimeters or 2 inches, or a non-circular cross section with a perimeter of at least 102 millimeters or 4 inches, but not more than 159 millimeters or 6.25 inches, and the largest cross-sectional dimension not exceeding 57 millimeters or 2.25 inches. Handrail edges shall have a minimum radius of 3 millimeters or 1/8 inch under 54217. 543 covers guardrails. 5431 says guardrails on open sides of stairways and lofts shall have intermediate rails or ornamental closures that do not allow passage of an object 102 millimeters or 4 inches or more in diameter. Lofts shall have guardrails not less than 914 millimeters or 36 inches in height, or 1/2 the maximum clear height to the ceiling, whichever is less, under 5432. 5433. Open sides of stairs to lofts shall have guardrails not less than 864 millimeters or 34 inches in height, measured vertically from the nosing of the treads. Continuing with guardrails, under 5434, openings and guardrails for ladders may be used if a ladder is provided and the opening does not exceed the ladder width by more than 305 millimeters or 12 inches. 5435 states guardrails shall be permanent, and 5436 said guardrails cannot be hinged or removable. This is another new section to the Z240. 5.5 covers wall beds or Murphy beds. 5.5.1 states that wall beds shall be secured in the stored position by means of a positive latch or mechanism. 552. Wall beds that fold down from a vertically stored position through the use of a pivot rather than a hinge at the extreme head of the bed, such that a space exists between the bed pivot point and the wall in the stored position, shall be equipped with a self-acting latch or mechanism that will secure the bed in the deployed position until the bed is purposefully moved to the stored position. One last item on wall beds. 553. Wall beds that can withstand at least 2,225 newtons or 500 pounds of force evenly spread across the width of the bed, anywhere between the pivot point and the head of the bed, without the foot end raising off the floor, may be used without the need of a self-acting latch or mechanism to secure the bed in the deployed position. Another new section is on 5.6 about portable fire extinguishers. Every recreational vehicle equipped with a fuel-burning appliance or appliances shall have a portable fire extinguisher that complies with the CAN ULC S504 or UL 299 and has a minimum rating of 1A 10 BC in accordance with the CAN ULC S508. The fire extinguisher shall be readily accessible and located in the interior of the vehicle within 600 millimeters or 24 inches of the opening of the primary exit. Trailer running gear is new to the Z240. 9.1 is the general requirement on trailer running gear that it must comply with CSA CAN 313 and shall be marked in accordance with CSA CAN 3-313 by the final assembler or the supplier of the complete running gear. 9.2 covers imposed loads. When loaded to the design of the GVWR and center of gravity in accordance with Clause 5.3.2, trailers shall impose a load on each running gear assembly not exceeding the gross axle weight rating of each assembly. 9.3 provides axle, tire, and wheel assembly requirements for towable recreational vehicles. And 9.3.1 states tire and wheel assemblies shall be installed in accordance with ANSI T6-1. 932. Tire load ratings are also new to the Z240. 9321 states the sum of the maximum load ratings of the tires and wheels fitted to an axle shall not be less than 110% of the gross axle weight rating specified by the RV manufacturer, as shown on the certification label required by 49 CFR 567 certification. 9322. On axles with a gross axle weight rating of 3650 kilograms or 8,000 pounds or less, as specified by the RV manufacturer and as shown on the certification label required by 49 CFR 567 certification, the sum of the maximum load ratings of the tires fitted to an axle shall not be less than 110% of the gross axle weight rating. 9323 states on axles with a gross axle weight rating above 3650 kilograms or 8,000 pounds as specified by the RV manufacturer and as shown on the certification label required by 49 CFR 567 certification. The sum of the maximum load ratings of the tires fitted to an axle shall not be less than 106% of the gross axle weight rating. 9324. The RV manufacturer may derate the axle value established by the axle manufacturer by not less than 12%. 933 states bias ply tires shall not be used on towable recreational vehicles having a wheel size of 330 millimeters, 13 inches or greater. 934 says the requirements in clauses 932 and 933 shall also apply to any spare tire and wheels supplied with the RV. Let's move on to CSA Z240 4.2.23, the installation requirements for propane appliances and equipment in recreational vehicles. Under 6.8, the maximum container capacities has been changed to allow 4 cylinders, where propane utilization equipment is installed by the recreational vehicle manufacturer. The recreational vehicle shall be provided with one of the following: 1, but not more than 4 cylinders having maximum individual water capacities of 47.6 kilograms or 105 pounds, which is approximately 20.4 kilograms or 45 pounds of propane capacity, or 1 or more tanks having a maximum aggregate water capacity of 0.8 meters cubed or 200 gallons. Now let's go over electrical requirements for RVs, which is a new section to the Z240. 5.13.2 covers ventilation of battery compartments. 5.13.2.1 covers vented battery installations. These could include lead acid or sealed lead acid batteries. Vented battery compartments shall meet the following requirements. Battery compartments shall be vapor resistant to the interior of the vehicle and ventilated directly to the exterior of the vehicle. Battery compartments designed for vented batteries shall be ventilated with openings having a minimum area of 1,097 millimeters squared or 1.7 inches squared within 51 millimeters or 2 inches of both the top and bottom. Battery compartments designed for vented batteries may be used with vented or non-vented batteries, including lithium. Vented batteries shall not be installed in a compartment, hood, or housing containing spark or flame-producing equipment, except that they may be installed in the engine compartment or generator compartment if the only charging source is from the engine generator. Compartments, hoods, or housings identified or outfitted for the purpose of housing the installation of future batteries, such as evidenced by the presence of battery cables, shall meet or have provisions for meeting per this clause. Next, we will discuss 513.2.2, which covers non-vented battery installations, which include lithium-ion, sodium-ion, and others. Non-vented battery compartments shall meet the following requirements. Lithium non-vented battery systems shall be listed and conform to the terms of the listing and the manufacturer's installation instructions. If provided, battery compartments designed for non-vented batteries only, including lithium, shall be designed such that the mount or compartment shall be incapable of accepting a vented battery, or the connector and connector fastener design shall prevent the connection or operation of a vented battery. If provided, battery compartment shall be located where it will not impede safe exit from the vehicle for the occupants should a failure occur in the non-vented battery. Non-vented battery installations shall contain a safety protection system. If the battery installation instructions do not address the installation inside the RV, the battery terminals shall be protected from unintended contact with goods or other components. Labeling for a non-vented battery installation is under 513.2.3. RVs with a non-vented battery installation shall have a warning label in English and French affixed to the RV adjacent to the non-vented battery in a location that remains visible after battery installation, affixed to the battery where an enclosure is not provided, or affixed to the exterior and interior of an enclosure where provided. The permanently affixed labels shall be printed with the word warning a minimum of 6 millimeters or 1/4 inch high. The body text shall be a minimum of 3 millimeters or 1/8 inch high with the letters on a contrasting background and shall read as follows. Warning. This battery area compartment is designed for the use of non-vented batteries only. Do not place a battery that requires venting into this area compartment. Vented batteries can release poisonous and flammable gases, can lead to a fire or explosion and result in death or serious injury. The same label in French. Lastly, 733 states, as an alternative to the dielectric strength test specified in clause 731, an insulation resistance test may be performed, in which case the insulation resistance between live parts and ground at the completion of a 1-minute application of a 500-volt DC test voltage shall not be less than that specified in Table 24 of the Canadian Electrical Code, Part 1. This alternative test is not allowed per Article 551.60 of the NEC. This concludes our presentation on the changes to the 2023 Canadian Z240 standard for recreational vehicles.